All right, what is up? Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tim Kramer with Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we're going to talk about X-Men 97, the finale, with the finals part of the trilogy at the end.
Mhm.
Season one is
Before,
done. So we are going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about how the last episode was, everything about the season. We're going to get some theories. We're going to save a problem that we have with it towards the end because that's going to be a whole discussion. Just
mhm,
that by itself. But
before
yeah,
we hop into it, Brian, you know what to do. Cue the
uh,
music for me, please.
you need like the plane to fly by.
Mm. Can can can
Yeah,
can you
you got
can
the
you
last little end.
can you tell that I'm ready for this discussion? Can you tell that I'm ready
Exactly.
for this discussion? Can you tell that I'm ready
I,
for
s-
this discussion?
I brought these down.
Oh, you get the matching cup too. I didn't even know they match. That's awesome.
Do you like
Oh
that?
man, you come.
I
That's
got some
awesome.
X-Men stuff up here too. It doesn't quite fit, but
Uh,
I love it. I love it.
and this is what I want to focus on.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Brandman, what you think about the episode, man? How'd you like it?
Dude, like I can't stress it enough. How much I was blown away not only by this episode but the show as a whole. But focusing on the episode, just way to stick the landing, just to
Yeah,
cap off this season. Um, like just where they went with the see you
later,
there.
Danny.
Mhm. Thanks for joining. Um, just kind of seeing where they went with Bastion. A lot of his dialogue was really something that stood out on the series for me. At the core, kind of, like the, kind of like the frenemy relationship or the compromise, the clashing views between Charles and Eric, which has
Mhm.
always been like the centerpiece of X-Men. I thought that was very, very well handled. Um, the way that it just ended, it left me wanting more. I think that much as I've always loved X-Men, this is like probably the main time that this is probably like the biggest time I've been invested in X-Men media other than the comics, even more so than the original run of the animated series. I
Yeah,
think this has been an elevation in every way, which is really impressive because they really could have just banked on nostalgia, you
yeah,
know, to sell the show. And I think we can all agree that when we heard that this show was getting announced, like our initial thought is, holy crap, they're bringing our childhood back. Maybe we weren't entirely focused on quality when we first heard this was announced. We were just happy to have our childhood back. But
mhm,
I think, but the way that the show's really matured, along with its core audience, is the most impressive thing. It doesn't talk down to you. It doesn't bank on nostalgia. They're making like great content and
yeah.
great storytelling, and it's impressive just how much ground they've covered um, on 10 30 minute episodes. I almost feel like they covered more ground in 10 30 minute episodes than Fox managed to in like nearly 2 decades worth of movies, which is insane.
Mhm.
And they nailed the ensemble aspect. I even, I love how everyone had like their time in the sun. They even, what was the word that I was looking for? Shit. Um, they really nailed the ensemble aspect that I find synonymous with X-Men. Um, oh, now I remember. Even the updated animation, and I
Mhm.
think I said this a while back. Uh, it felt like less of a update just for the sake of updating, but it felt like it was a narrative decision too.
Yeah,
It really worked to the advantage of the storytelling.
yeah.
Just how much
Especially this episode.
especially
The
this episode.
the animation was so good in this
Yeah,
episode.
I feel like it's really like stood out more and more as they progressed with each episode, and it's kind of
Mhm.
hit its crescendo on this week's.
Mhm.
And don't even get me started on the character cameos. Just how they've established the like
Peter
the
found
world
MJ.
with it. Peter found
Peter found
MJ.
MJ. That
So
was the best.
that answers my question from
Uh-huh.
that.
Madam Web helped him find her. All right.
Don't say that name.
So at the same time, I do kind of want Spider-Man 98, but at the same time, I'm fine with not necessarily having Spider-Man 98 because that answers my main question about that. We had Spider-Man, we had Captain America, Iron Man decked out in his freaking 90s armor from his animated series back in the day.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Cloak and Dagger showed
Cloak
up.
and
Cloak
Dagger.
and Dagger. That was crazy.
Yeah,
That was
Daredevil.
surprising.
Yeah, I think I saw Alpha Flight in there. You
did.
Insanity. Like this, I really don't know what I'm gonna do with myself now. Between now and the wait for season 2, whatever the hell that is, except for binge watch it on an endless cycle until that day comes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy crap! Like, if they'd be idiots not to reinstate Bo DeMeo. And if they don't reinstate him, have him behind the writing for the live action reboot. Do something. Reinstate.
They're almost done with season 2. They're
yeah.
The voice actresses are saying they're done in season 2 right now.
Yeah. Well, season 2 is already written.
Yeah.
Bo DeMeo is still, gonna have his fingers in that one in a sense, So
you can say that.
Well, that's why he got fired.
Like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is what I've said in so many words is this show's amazing. I want more and I want it now. Doctor Strange doing surgery.
He was doing surgery using magic because he didn't have electricity and he can't use his hands.
Yeah. I think Silver Samurai popped up again. That's the second time.
Silver Samurai was there. Omega Red was there.
Omega Red.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't see like Colossus and some of the other ones.
But there's a reason why you didn't see Colossus, and that's because of what you're gonna see towards the end of the new X-Men that you're gonna have in that.
Yeah.
In the next universe.
Yeah, I think so. Horror Geek. We know we're gonna talk about that, but that's gonna be a whole another conversation because but yep. We're right there with you, man. And Kenny real quick said the thing I loved about X-Men 97 finale was it didn't zoom through the issue at hand in favor of an episode long setup for the future, which so many shows do in their determinant.
You're right.
Detriment.
It focused on the now. It didn't occupy itself with planting Easter eggs or seeds for a season 2. Although it did end on a cliffhanger, but at the same time, it's still very much standalone. They focused on the current.
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
Which I did too, because like it's the current story of what's going on and how that leads into the future, rather than like you're saying zoom through it and it's like, oh, but here's season 2. Get ready for season 2. It's like, no, they finished this story, they finished this issue, the bad guy of the season, and how it's going to continue or carry over to next season. And that's how you do this. That's how you're supposed to do it. Finish the story, finish the bad guy of the season, or however you want to do it, and then how that affects season 2 going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they do it. The best part is things that happen in like the 4th episode with like Bishop is now coming back into play. You know what I mean? Like things that they did in the beginning of it is coming into play, So they do it. They're just doing it so well, so well. And it's just, I feel like these guys that are writing it love this show like more than the people who wrote it in the 90s did. Because I feel like the people who wrote in the 90s wrote it, and they, don't get me wrong, they did a great job, but I feel it was more like money and selling toys, which it was. We need to sell comics, we need to sell toys. That's what cartoons in the 80s and 90s did. But yeah, this one loves it though.
Yeah, and as kids, and we were all about the toys and the Halloween costumes and the comics. That was, I think, for all three of us, I think that was all of our gateways into the comics. And that's what we were all about as kids. But I think somewhere along the way, we kind of like started appreciating narrative, that sort of thing. And that's not to say that the original series didn't have great writing and a good narrative. We just weren't old enough to really pay it much mind or as much mind.
Yeah.
I think when I started hitting like my late teens, revisiting the X-Men animated series, I came to appreciate that even more. So when I say that the show really grew up alongside us, that's what I'm getting at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
very
easy
much.
for us. It's easier for us to appreciate the writing,
Yeah.
and they really didn't they really didn't spaz out on the writing. Like I said, I was so like my favorite thing about this show is that it didn't solely bank on nostalgia. Actually, the nostalgia factor kind of came last for me. There were times where I was forgetting this was still taking place in the '90s when the show was really at the height of its
Mhm.
popularity. You know,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
invested.
Yeah. So he's saying like I'm tripping because the originals they were forced to compromise and sell toys. Relax. And I'm not saying that they didn't love it. They obviously did because they knew what they were talking about. They knew the storylines and they did it well. Um, I'm just saying like they weren't given the money and they were forced to sell toys because that's what all cartoons were. Not
Yeah,
not as much as like someone like He-Man. He-Man was
mhm.
literally the toy came first and the cartoon came second.
Yeah,
You know,
He-Man,
but
Transformers.
yeah, all those. So I'm not saying they didn't love it, but this one is like we don't need to worry about selling toys. We can focus on giving it its full appreciation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not saying it sucked. Don't get me wrong. I love the originals. Well,
Oh yeah,
most of it. That last season kind of sucked because they changed animation studios. A lot of the writers left. Money
animation
problems.
style was so bad.
Yeah, that was a whole nother bag of worms.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I love the originals. You know, but
Yeah.
but yeah, when you're forced to compromise for things, that's when you know you kind of lose things.
Mhm.
So and it's not on the writers.
No.
But they appreciate it because we got a great Phoenix Saga. We got some great stories from the original,
Yeah.
and then they're
You
able
know.
to turn it up to 10 on this show.
Yeah. And I really rank the X-Men animated series like right up there with the Batman animated series. They were translating like literal storylines from the comic pretty much frame by frame, word for word.
Mm,
Um, which I really respected. You know, it's really it's really a love letter to our it's the power of a book.
oh no, my bad. There's
Um,
another one. I was like, wait, what? I'll show
mhm,
that one in a minute.
mhm. I was almost like, oh, thank you.
But
But
yeah,
but no, no, it was a love letter to us '90s kids, but at the same time,
yeah,
it didn't talk down to us.
yeah,
Just to sum it all up, that was my
yeah,
you know, that like I can't like rave about it enough.
yeah.
You know,
Well, like Kyle said here, it grew up with its fans. It evolved, and it did. It's like
yeah.
everyone who was probably writing on it watched that, at some point
Hmm.
in their childhood and was like, holy shit,
Hmm.
and let's double down on it and do some really cool stuff. So,
Yeah, and the way they handled so much content was just so impressive. You know,
mm,
it never felt like it dragged. And when you're handling that much content, you can easily risk dragging. It just felt so they handled it in such a graceful way, for lack of a better term.
mhm.
You know, like I was sitting there glued to the screen. I'm not even thinking about my phone whenever I watch this
Oh,
show. There's been times where I've ignored calls. Um, you know, except if it's my mother or my mom, my dad, my sister. I'll answer those calls. But but yeah, it's like just holy crap. Season 2, like they're gonna have their work cut out for them for the future seasons, because this was a great debut.
Mm-hmm.
Like they set the bar pretty high for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of the feeling that I felt when I left out of The Dark Knight. Like, how's Christopher Nolan going to top himself?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see where they go next time or next season.
Oh yeah. All right. What about you, Brian? Or did you guys even notice 42 minutes? Did you notice it was 42 minutes, Brian?
Yeah, immediately.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even check the time. I literally click on it as fast as I can. And then I'm like, oh, this one seems longer. And then that's when I noticed afterward.
Every Wednesday.
And then hit the pause, and I see how long I have.
Oh, I don't I don't touch the remote. I hit play, and then that remote sits down. I ain't skipping the intro. I ain't skipping the credits at the end. I watch all the characters rotating CGI.
No, so I don't skip anything, but what I will check to see, make sure it's long enough so it's something I don't have to complain about.
Yeah, because I figured like it was just another 30-ish minute episode, and then it's running. I'm like, it seems a little bit long. I wasn't complaining. I'm like, this seems longer. I don't know if it's just me really into it or if it actually is. And then once the show was over or the episode was over, I'm like, oh yeah, check that out.
On network TV, that would be an hour-long show.
Oh yeah. Add all the commercials. What about you, Brian? Man, what do you think about this episode?
So the episode or the whole series? Because we were talking about both. That's why.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I know. I kind of drifted off into the whole series. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as this episode, I thought they did a wonderful job of giving every character its due. When you able to do an ensemble and still give time to each one. You see Jubilee finally take what she had from when she learned Motendo, like what she learned from that. Bring that, pay it forward. What you did with I mean, everyone, like Magneto, the Magneto Charles Xavier story was so epic, showing their origins, going back to the comic book when they're talking about that they've known each other beforehand. They do a great job of leaning on comic books without making a crutch, making that the story itself. Like, I'm not going to go word for word from the comic book, but I'm going to take things that are very important for the character and adapt it to this TV show. They do amazing job with that. I was not mad at Wolverine not doing anything, but that whole thing with Morph was pretty awesome. Him turning to Jean, especially after what we saw before, where he was teasing him as Jean. So, hey, I'm about to have this baby with the most boring person in the world, and you're in love with me. I thought that was so awesome because he's in love with Logan, and he got to say as Jean, "Hey, Logan, I love you. Fight for me." That was awesome. I mean, a wonderful moment.
Yeah. Also, real quick on that same moment when Cyclops goes to Wolverine's ear, he goes, "Don't you dare break her heart." I was like, Cyclops. I was like,
you said the quiet parts out loud, real well, like really,
because it was just like
always that secret.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that means Cyclops knows. He's like, listen, I know, but you're not the man. I'm the man. But she does
I'm
like
comfortable enough to do that because I know what's going on.
Yeah, like she might look at you on the way out, but she comes home with me, kind of thing. It's like that's what I felt. But I thought that was like badass Cyclops. He's like also respect to Logan is like, like don't give up on us with two. So I thought that was like in that same like area of like the team still showing Wolverine love, even though he's like hurt. So I thought that was super cool. But yeah. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I'm all for it. I thought the fact that Jean, they've been hinting at the Phoenix Force the entire time. Every episode you saw at the beginning and the credits always saw the Phoenix Force. So you knew we were gonna get that at some point in time. But you didn't actually kill Jean Grey in order to use the Phoenix Force. They just used it as a plot device. That's what they use the Phoenix Force, because when you get a character they did a great job of making the X-Men seem like they were all is lost. There's no way you could win.
Mhm.
And then they used the Phoenix Force to get out of that. You know,
Yeah.
That's what Kenny's saying.
You know,
But,
they had like legitimate stakes. You know,
yeah,
I'm
because
sitting there
people
asking myself.
they die, they're not bringing them right back. Like
Mhm,
you're dead. Like I
Yeah.
say, you know,
mhm,
it's wonderful what they did.
mhm,
As I've said in throughout this entire series, I have problems with this whole Storm stuff because we all know if you've seen me talk about it, you know what I'm talking about, and not giving her the screen time because she's the only one, the only black character, and even of all the characters, everyone really finished their whole her arc, but
mhm.
not really her. And
Mhm.
we still don't know where she is. We still
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. So why? I don't understand why that is always like fishy. Always seems to get a little bit more of the back burner. I
Yeah,
don't like it. I don't
it,
like it. And it's
and
once again, the only black character, the only one in the top 10 of X-Men, and she just time after time feel like it's the short end of the stick.
yeah,
Mhm.
and you know, I know you and I midway through, Brian, weren't quite on the same wavelength, and I was like, oh, wait it out. But you know, in hindsight, how long do we have to wait for
We
that?
have to,
You
but
know,
you can't
they
wait
they
because
they didn't.
if you allow it to wait, then you're going to be sitting there waiting forever because they'll be like, "Oh, we'll do it next time. Oh, it'll be okay."
Yeah,
Well, no one's
you
complaining,
know,
so it's okay. You better complain
yeah,
now. You know?
and
Mhm.
Storm is a terrific enough character that there's more than enough to explore with her, and it never really felt like like say we've all talked about like how Cyclops got his due, or
Mhm.
Rogue has had a very good story arc. Magneto's had a pretty good character arc in this. Um,
Xavier wasn't
but
even
they
in most of the
Xavier
season
wasn't
and
even
got
in
more.
most of it, and had more.
Yeah.
It seemed like Storm had like cool moments here and there,
Mhm.
Mm.
but that's just it. She's so much more than cool moments. You
Even
know,
the storyline they
there's
gave her with Forge sucks. So like, it just it was cool to adapt it, but and Storm is not what you want from Storm. You want more
no,
of her.
there's
You know,
there's there's a lot more to do.
I mean, this entire episode, all you saw from Storm was like, whoa,
Yeah.
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
literally, that's what you saw from
It
her. Like I thought that was kind of sucky, and
it
people
was
aren't talking about it. Like and it's because if you like the show, it feels like you can't criticize it. I love
yeah.
the show. I'm going to criticize it because you need to give these great characters its due and understand what's
Mhm.
going on and how powerful she is and how many storylines. If you really want to say, besides Logan, she's on more covers than anybody else for X-Men. Uncanny
Mhm.
X-Men, the X-Men series, she has more comic books like than anyone. Her storylines are throughout the entire show, the
Mhm.
Yeah.
comics. So you could
Mhm.
choose a lot of stuff to talk about her. But we chose not to, and I did not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have to say, like, even midway through the season, you were right. I was wrong about that. They
Yeah.
there's way too much potential, and I'd say that was definitely a letdown of this season. Much as I absolutely love this show, there was a lot more that could have been done. You know, she doesn't have to be the what was the tree from Pocahontas' name?
Oh man. I don't think I've seen that one enough. I know what you're talking about though.
I don't like
But
it.
Why
anyway,
she got to
you
be why she's got to be that character?
yeah,
Just saying why stuff here and
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's what the
The
whole
fact
geeks
that she's
or
always everything
therapist.
that she was doing was always away from the screen. The spotlight was never when everyone was there. The spotlight can't be on her. It's like they think she's like OP or something like that. I don't know, man.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He's then
I
pulling out
just
the matching cup.
yeah.
Got the matching cup and matching shirt.
I did not like
Please,
what
I'm
we got from
slicker than
Storm.
butter on the floor.
But not butter
Oh.
on my floor. But
Well, real quick, so So Horgeek said the writer said this about Storm. So quote, there is more to Black Power and Pride than action and violence. And he said, I don't like that
What
response.
what?
That's
They gotta fix this, and they can fix it.
Wait,
They
who said
can.
it? Did both the males say that, or did another writer? Because I know obviously he's not the only writer, but yeah,
He was a runner, the showrunner.
yeah, he was a showrunner, and everything had to kind of go through him. But that's it's kind of interesting because I don't feel like that's Storm. Storm. It's the X-Men, who's nothing but action and violence. But
Yeah.
also Storm is very like
She's
I don't
regal.
Yeah.
She influences everything. When they
Mo
are
said it, really? He did say
wow,
it?
when
Damn.
they're lost
Really?
in the woods, it's always Storm that kind of brings them back out. This is what the focus we're going to focus on. Family. We're going to do this together. And then she's like, then all of a sudden they do everyone else, and then she doesn't get any of the spotlight. Cool, I guess. Yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I will say this:
all the
What
growth
is
is
the-
internal. So
yeah, but then how does that work on a TV show, Kenny? Like when we only have one black character, like, and who's supposed to be the main ones?
and she's Omega level.
Omega level. We see what happens with Cyclops and Jean. That their character arc was off the charts.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What we got with Cable was amazing when you saw with them. That was I almost cried when he said, "I'm going to do something my dad didn't do. I'm going to say goodbye." Oh man,
And-
see right
and-
there, it was just sitting there like for a while, like.
and Kenny is right. He is absolutely right. She did have a good amount of character growth, but I think that when she came back as OP as ever, I think they still didn't do enough.
Sure?
There were several more episodes where she was
missing
absent.
again. She was missing
You know,
again.
It was
Yeah.
and I'm all for giving other characters shine, giving other characters arcs, but I feel like there was more that she could have been a part of. She just showed up and dropped um little nuggets of wisdom, like we've always associated with the character.
Yeah.
When I kind of felt like at that point they could have done more if they wanted to.
Yeah, they should have. I think they should have done more because, like, she was. I like the little nuggets of wisdom and her stuff like that, but also she's an Omega level. Like, you need to, and they showed
Like
it in the
super
first
OP.
episode.
They showed it on the first episode. She was
Why didn't
walking
you do
on
that?
the sand and it was turning to glass.
Yeah,
which was
why didn't
awesome.
they do it when she got her powers back? She like creates this like freaking tornado kind of thing, and you can see it from space. So it's like, and then she just gets wrapped up with some sentinels. I was like, you just zapped a bunch of them in the first episode, and now you're in theory more powerful than before. And I don't know. I was just like okay, So I don't know.
Yeah, I've said that. I've been consistent. I've been saying that with Storm. I feel the same way. When I knew Bishop, they had him at the beginning credits, and they never talked about him again. But everyone else, I think they did real good justice to. I just don't think they did justice to the black characters itself. Bishop is still, he's not really there. He's not really X-Men. That's so, that's why you should have focused on a better storyline with Storm. But it is what it is.
Yeah. They sidelined Bishop. Yeah, I mean, but I wish he kind of stayed, but it played into the bigger story, and I think it played into that. So at least like Bishop being gone, like, had a reason. I think that hopefully we will see next season, because he's time traveling too, like he's that. But Storm is an X-Man. Like, she's one of
she's been a leader more than anyone else. Like,
yeah, so Bishop, in and out, like, that's cool. I did like him in the show, but Storm, come on,
And I just want to end it when I'm complaining about. Since I'm complaining about Storm, I might as well finish it with they showed everyone else, everybody else. We know Logan is still fighting, but we have no idea where Storm is. So everyone else has a place in the future that where they went, because they actually had a storyline.
We don't know where Logan is.
What Logan? It just says he's missing. is MIA, but he was healing. He wasn't on the ship when all this stuff happened. He wasn't there.
Yeah, he was. He was
I thought
on.
he was.
He was right
I
there
thought,
next to Magneto and Xavier on the Blackbird. That was in
oh no,
the
he was on the Blackbird.
in the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, they were all. Well, most of them are all in there.
so then
Yeah,
they went up above it because remember the Blackbird was still flying, right?
yeah.
And then Magneto went out of it, and everyone else was flying when they're fighting it, fighting what's it, asteroid M, whatever, trying to keep it from falling in, and the
and
jet
more.
went off, right?
Yeah, and Morph is on account of that. I didn't even
This
think
what
about that. Morph
it says on the chart.
Yeah,
It says it on the chart, But I'm not going to compare it to Morph. But I'm saying you can give everyone else somewhere where they are. We know where what's happened with Logan because of what happened in episode 9. We have nothing to do with Storm at all.
Dre change to whatever it needs him to be.
Oh man, that is
That's
awesome.
great. That's great. That's great. I love that.
Bishop the slave catcher. No, definitely. Yeah.
But I will say this: with the whole thing they did with Storm, I think they have opportunity to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I still think because she's missing, she could be anywhere in time, right? Mm-hmm. So they can put her anywhere, and we can do all type of storylines. And then once again, I'm going with what was announced, which that's the timing to be announced today or yesterday that they are going to have a Storm series with Storm joining the Avengers on her own storyline. That's what's happening in August, the comic book. I don't think that's a coincidence. I really feel like they're doing it for a reason, and they're going to try out some things. And if you don't know what Avengers are right now, it is her. It's going to be her, Captain Marvel, T'Challa, Thor, and I'm missing one. And Sam. Mm-hmm. So at least you have an opportunity to do something with it, and maybe they're going that way. Maybe that's what's going on, and that they have a plan to finally shut us all up. I'm hoping that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Shut me up, please. I will love it. Give me what I want. Follow what Coach was doing. What we got with Priest was started off. I mean, give me that. Follow that storyline. If you're bold enough. Why else would you put her as an adventure by herself? So, yeah. Neither here nor there, but go ahead, Tate. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, like, I know we had talked about it, like we were all chatting in the group chat. That's it'll be interesting, but I think that's wishful thinking, man. I don't know if they're gonna go that route. It just
so you're gonna put Storm right next to T'Challa and then just like, but you see this.
we got a whole nother T'Challa problem in this show, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. So, so there's that. I mean, ultimately, I think Storm is in the modern, the current timeline in X-Men 97. So her, Logan, and Morph are still in there with Jubilee, and maybe in a different. I don't know, man, because it's been months, right? I don't know.
It's been 6 months, and Forge is looking for her, so that doesn't make sense.
They have to be in a different timeline. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe on a plane of
Logan could be Pharaoh. Logan could be Pharaoh, learning how to deal with his bone claws. That makes sense. Jubilee and Sunspot are on the beach somewhere doing what they do.
No, I don't see Jubilee giving up on the team like that. Sunspot maybe, but
she said that, hey, I want to be on the beach. It's only been 6 months. Everyone that she loved is gone. Everyone else is gone. Everyone that she follows is not there. Thus, I can see Jubilee, not she's giving up, but at least taking a break. Sunspot tells her, take a break, and I think that's kind of where we're going to go with that. But I think Storm is I think she's going to have a special something going on, special with her. Now, do I think it's T'Challa? That's wishful thinking. But I do believe she's going to have a special storyline that they're going with her, specifically for her.
Yeah. That'd be interesting, because then it's like she just joined the group, and then you're kicking her back out again. I mean, not kicking her back out, but now she's like back on her own, or back with just one person or something like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, that'd be a hell of a person to be with.
Yeah, right. Yeah. She's on the beach with that big ass coat. Oh, wait. Black onesie all the way up to the neck. Like, never gets hot. Damn, I never thought about Mystique. Might be the baddest in the bedroom. She changes into Jesus, man. You telling
You never
Dre Mack
thought
to
about
pause,
that?
man. No, I know, but I was just like,
Jeez, man, you're down bad, aren't you?
I could be wrong, but I believe there's a story with Wolverine and Mystique where they were messing around.
Of course, but
It was something
Wolverine's
like
been
that.
around for forever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
Mystique is like super old too. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I know they had messed around a few times, and I think something like that might have came up. I could be wrong, you know, because there's like what 600 freaking books, maybe more. So
more.
yeah,
It's
you know,
700.
and then
Yeah,
you
over
start
700.
doing everyone's side stories and shit. Yeah. Hold on, I saw somebody's comment I wanted to get to. Might have missed it. I probably missed it. I think it was. With Sunspot. So Jorge says, I think why Sunspot was not handled well this season, because he said it's supposed to be Afro Latino, but basically it was
Mhm.
nothing like that. It took the fan backlash to get his skin darkened for the show. Yeah, there's stuff like that was kind of going on, and they changed a few things with Sunspot, but
No, you're supposed from
overall, I
Sao
don't.
Paulo. Like Sao Paulo, if you know Brazil, like that
Oh
is
yeah,
like
yeah, he's supposed to
the
be way
dark.
darker.
Those are
Yeah,
African. So
yeah,
people like yeah, that was
yeah,
pretty weird that they did that. I was surprised that they did that. But
yeah.
I did like that finally with Sunspot saved Jubilee.
Actually,
He said, "Hey, I'm Sunspot." He kind of understood what he was, who he was.
yeah.
He accepted. They do that in X-Men. When you finally say, "Use my X-Men name," that's when you accept that I'm a mutant and I'm going to be this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So
So I don't fully hate it. I there's a thing, but they should have probably made them darker, but
Yeah.
it didn't like upset me as much as other things have, you know. But again, upset me while I still am enjoying this amazing freaking show. Some
Mhm.
people are calling it a masterpiece. I don't know if I go to that quite level of masterpiece, but it is probably one of the most fun things I've seen in a long time. Especially one of the best things I've seen from Marvel in general for a long time.
What
Um,
I think the best Marvel thing in probably 2 decades, the best animated thing probably ever.
the best Marvel thing in 2 decades over
What
Endgame and
I'm saying,
Infinity
like,
War.
it's like so. Well, it's since 2019, I guess 2018. So it's only
Okay.
been 6 years.
Yeah.
I think this is put together better. I think that's a better ensemble. I mean, because we've earned
Mm.
it through all those times. That's why
Yeah, you
Endgame and
can
you
build it up.
you're saying because it's the build up to stand on its own.
Mhm.
Man, this might be right up there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Wolverine gets it
with a lot of
with a
people.
lot of
Yeah,
people. Oh yeah, man, dude, for yeah, even Storm. Yeah,
yeah. I
they even
remember
do
that
it in
storyline.
they do it in the show. Where it's like an
Mhm.
alternate future or something like that, and him and Storm
Days
are
of Future Past, right?
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
which was one of the homework assignments. So
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, X-Men 3, she tried to bring Wolverine looking like Jean. Yeah.
Phew.
Keith said, I like Sunspot actually fighting this episode. It was earned. Yeah, he actually kind of did something, Well, also that was part of his development. He was afraid to um take in who he actually is, afraid to be called Sunspot, and then he finally, you know, got it.
Accepted it and said,
Accepted it.
"I'm
Yeah.
Sunspot," and he screamed it out.
Yeah.
I'm call me Sunspot. Like that's
Yeah.
just what he is now. So now he's acceptable. He's accepted it. He no longer worried about his family because they kind of just got rid of him. And
Hmm.
as Xavier eloquently put, the X-Men and I aren't blood related. We're not. We don't look like each other,
Hmm.
but we are family. And that's a thing that kept on hammering home. My question to you
Yeah.
guys is is Eric Magneto? Is he good for good now?
Nah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no. I don't.
We're never gonna get Onslaught, by the way.
No,
We're never gonna get Onslaught.
Oh, I think we are.
I think we could.
I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna get
I
Onslaught.
think we are. I think we are because they already said it. I don't think it's gonna happen. I thought it was gonna happen early on in season 2. I now don't think it will. But
He's never gonna
they
erase
set
his
it up.
mind again. And then
It doesn't
that's
matter. He was so far in his mind that a version of Magneto lives inside of Xavier's mind, and at the end of the day, that's what Onslaught is.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not. It lives inside of Xavier's mind, but Xavier was inside Magneto's mind. So I don't think that. And what happened was, if you I went back to read that comic. It was they both basically lost their powers, and Onslaught was a manifestation of them together.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
but it was Xavier's physical body.
yeah,
Xavier turned into Onslaught.
because he lost.
Yeah,
Because he lost who he was altogether.
because in his mind it was Magneto and Xavier fighting so much that they kind of turned into Onslaught, and then you find out that Xavier is Onslaught. You know, which I don't know if that's a spoiler because they might or might not do it with.
But
the
what
show.
would happen with this? It would have been Eric. It would happen in his body.
No, I can still see it being Xavier's body. You know, like they were in his head so much, but like it was still his power pulling. So as he pulls back into his head, you know,
He's
piece of
pulling
Magneto
Eric
stays-
with him.
a part of it stays. You know, maybe Magneto. He's like, I'm gonna make sure this shit don't happen again. You know, next time you want to do something like that, that inner Magneto that I left behind, I can see.
I don't think Eric could do that. I don't think he.
I mean, but that's how they did it in the comics. That's how they did it in the comics.
So I was just reading it. It was okay. It was the all right. Whatever.
Yeah, he brainwiped him, and then he was amnesia. You know,
Mhm.
and then
So he no longer was
part of
the only place for that part of Magneto to latch onto was to go with in Charles because there was nothing else. But that's not what happened here. And then he screams, "I am, Magneto lives," which is an epic thing in itself. Like, hey, I am there. So that's why I just don't see that Onslaught coming, especially not now. I think especially with we're going to get the Apocalypse, and then we're going to have some other stuff.
Definitely Apocalypse.
Yeah, I think we're gonna spend all of season 2 time traveling.
A lot of it, but I think you're going to be fighting Apocalypse on 3 different levels.
That's what I think too. Yeah,
and then none of them are going to work, and that's why I think Storm could be outside of it because Storm is going to have to be the final blow. Like she's going to have some type of arc, whatever's going on, that's going to work, and then she brings something into it that they didn't have, and it's going to be the final blow to bring everything together and do what they got to do. It's Apocalypse.
Yeah. So real quick, I wanted to show Horror Geek said show Sunspot's Black Dad next season. He is more important than his mom in his story. And I think they might go that route, because now I don't know Sunspot that much. I don't know, but I can see like he felt betrayed by his mom, so maybe he starts going towards his dad a little bit more. I don't know the full story, but I think they could do something like that. And you find out like I don't know if his dad's a mutant or not. But yeah, definitely. If she's the Latino part of it, then you need to have somebody darker be the dad. So we'll see if they go that route.
Sunspot's parents both like Afro Latino, like.
Yeah, I mean,
just like Brazil. If you're Brazil, you like when I was there, I looked exactly like everybody else. Just another place where black people went.
Yeah. There we go. It's a few more, then we'll get into our other topic about X-Men. I think you do Onslaught because most of the general public are experiencing these stories for the first time. Yeah, I mean, it'll still be a surprise, I think, for a lot of that people, because even like Kenny, I know you said like you never even knew Onslaught except for the video games, so I'm sure there's a lot of people, if you don't see it on TV, then you might not know, so, and this is a lot of people because a lot of people don't read the comics, so we'll see. I hope we do, because he's a cool looking freaking character.
I think that would be cool.
He's messed up. He's messed up. Like he's evil, but Morphinor is the lure of a buff short king. Yeah, as we were saying earlier. I love that Beau DeMail loves his work so much that he's still willing to talk to fans of the show despite being fired. That is true.
He
That is
only
true.
loves he only loves fans.
Hold on. I you need to get. Oh my god. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think he does like really love like talking about this stuff, which shows. And also, if he wants to play politics against Marvel a little bit, that might be the best way to do it. Start inserting yourself into the conversation. And he's never said, "Hey, look what I did," but he's kind of showing you. He goes, "Hey, read this. Here's your homework." So now he's almost like the teacher. He's the guy telling people how to prep for the next episode. So
And
even though he's not saying,
Marvel's going to say he's just like Professor Xavier, and X-Men is always more interesting when Xavier's not there. So I'm just saying.
I didn't trust. No, I think they figure it out. They got some time to figure it out, which is not in Beau's favor. But I feel like this conversation of how good the show is going to carry on for a while. It's going to carry on into Deadpool. Because
Yeah,
again, we see Wolverine again.
I think they go away from Beau DeMail for the animated series, but I think they bring him back for something Marvel.
If they bring him back, they're going to bring him back for the thing he does. I don't know.
I don't think they bring him back for X-Men. I think they're going to. Feige's going to overrule everybody else, and he's going to say, "I want him in this live action movie."
Yeah, I think you can do both. You can have him. There's only 3 seasons that he hasn't even started on. I mean, they're talking about Ryan Coogler directing 2 movies. They got the dude, the Shang-Chi, talking, him directing, 2 movies. So, I think they can have him do this and I don't not direct a movie. Don't get me wrong, but maybe write for a movie.
See?
But yeah,
he's a showrunner. I mean, he DeMail's been a showrunner.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think they're gonna be like, okay, listen, dude, stop the OnlyFans shit, and if you're gonna be on this, you need to be part of the Disney, family friendly, stuff. So
image, yeah.
So, yeah.
He was like, I just saw Poor Things on Disney Plus. What are you talking about, bro?
More for thought. Oh man. Clones, time travel, aliens, bigots, robots, love triangles. Man, it's like a love hexagon at this point, Existential crisis, death, habitual line stepping. 97 ran through the full gamut.
Gambit.
You should have put gambit of X-Men stories in one season. But yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot. Which I mean, I'd rather have them do a lot for season 1 than play it safe. Because you can run into e-viewing, good example. You can run into running out of the opportunity to tell your story. You know what I mean? I'm sure at this point they're like, we got 1 season to tell the best story we could possibly tell. And if we get renewed, then we get renewed and we'll figure that out. But right now, this got to be the best. And
I think that we're gonna see the same thing in season 2.
Yeah, we're gonna see I think
multiple
so
storylines. I mean, because Apocalypse is around for freaking forever, and you can do all type of stories with Apocalypse. So
yeah. Jorge said his dad is black and his mom is a white, brown, Latino, depending on the comic. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I believe his dad is black, Afro businessman, a Brazilian guy, businessman. He's the millionaire, and I thought his mom was like an archaeologist. Like a regular American archaeologist, like it's a regular person. So, he's Afro Latino and like whatever he could be Latina. I don't know if she's Latina. I don't know if she's white, but I know that she was not as important as his dad.
The dad. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea about Sunspot. That OnlyFans joke was a classic. You cut that up, turn that into somebody clip it, turn that into a short. Yeah, just like X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman, the animated series were all introductions to these characters when I was a kid in the 90s. Yep.
It was even more. I mean, Iron Man had his own. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about X-Men 97. This episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? How much did you love it? Like us? Leave a comment. Let us know. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Come and join us every Monday and Thursday. We love talking to all you guys in the live chat about all these like nerdy stuff. So come and be part of the channel and join us. But thank you guys. If you're live, stick around because we're gonna talk about some more X-Men stuff.